The mind doesn't make mistakes. It just basically works on math and pattern predictions. So, for a lot of you, you might be really confused about why you're doing certain things. You're like, why did I just do that? What is going on? Is something wrong with me? Well, not necessarily. The thing that happens with the mind is that we typically learn certain equations at a young age. Sometimes it's young age, sometimes it's later in life, but essentially the brain is more plastic when we're young, so it's thought that we can learn a bit better then. And so these equations stick in the mind, and they often stick in the subconscious mind. And that means that you're not necessarily aware of them. So it could look something like, if I love someone, they will leave me, because maybe you had some type of abandonment in childhood. It can look like something like, if I speak up, I will be ostracized, right? Because maybe you were part of a minority group that had a lot of kind of danger around being exposed. These are all cases I've seen before, and they can impact your work, right? Because these equations live in your subconscious mind and they dictate your behavior. And to your mind, it seems like a really good idea because the equation is there and it was learned, oftentimes learned through a very kind of impactful negative experience, because negative emotion is the best learning mechanism for the mind. But it was learned and now it's there and it keeps functioning, and it's not there being repressed because of some kind of like insane, psychological repression or something. Typically, these things aren't in the conscious mind because it's just not energy efficient. It's not energy efficient to have all of that stuff going on in your conscious awareness. And so there's a lot of stuff that's kind of working in the background because it's just not that energy efficient to have all tabs open, right? It's kind of like that feature in Google Chrome that the tab like stops loading, right? Like it kind of like stops generating that tab once you don't have it open to save bandwidth. Your mind's just like that. It's only open on the tab that you have open, and all the other tabs are kind of running in the back. Well, they're not even running in the background. You're not even like running them. And so the idea here is that how do you actually change? Well, you make those equations actually conscious. You need to be aware of them. And in order to be aware of them, you probably need to do some introspection. But that is not enough, because all the introspection in the world won't make you like actually change. And that's a huge mistake that people make these days, is that they keep intellectualizing and intellectualizing and intellectualizing, and they're so aware of their patterns, but nothing ever changes. And that's where you need experiential components to the work that you're doing. So you need to actually go in there and reformulate that equation. And the way that works is you can look up experiential therapies. It's kind of a more newer modality of working with the mind. There's all kinds of stuff up there on there. You can, chat GPT it, you can YouTube it. But that's essentially what you need to do in order to change the behaviors that you don't want. And if you don't know the equations that work in your mind, then you're going to have a lot of confusion, because it's going to be really confusing on why you do things. But the mind isn't making mistakes. It thinks it's doing a really helpful thing for you based on your experiences and learnings and the predictions that it's making.